Test. All right, I'm hearing myself. I am live. All right, guys, what's going on? This is Jaysee Soto. I am the owner of Altamonte Family Hearing. I've been having a whole lot of fun as the bald hearing guy on TikTok and now Instagram and all these other things. And it's been a long time coming for me to do this, which is the Wax and Whiskey podcast. I'm clocked out. This is very different than if you guys have seen me in other channels and other things. This is very different because I'm not wearing that lab coat. We're going to be talking about some similar things, but I am clocked out. I am not in my office. I am in a space where I get to tell you more of my stories, tell you more of the things that are going on. But first, you saw the name, Wax and Whiskey. We got to have a drink. I am clocked out. This is my vent session. I'm going to bring you guys on my journey, and hopefully you have a good time here with me. But first, let's pour. So I am not super well versed with bourbons. I'm having a good time with them. I started whiskey and stuff like that with my family, and then old fashions. Old fashions did it for me. I still love a good old fashioned. Like if I go out, my cocktail of choice, my preference is an old fashioned. And then some Manhattans, but still there. But then I got into bourbons. Old fashions are made with bourbons, but then trying different bourbons. What do I like? What don't I like? I really still don't really know for a lot, and I'm figuring it out. This one. So I'm in Central Florida. We're in Altamonte Springs, Florida, like 15 minutes or so north of Universal Studios or Orlando area, right? This is St. Augustine Distillery, pretty popular in our area. I don't know how it is across the U.S., but I've seen, based on the little bit of homework that I was doing, it's a very, very popular distillery here in my state. So I thought, episode 1 of Wax and Whiskey, let's do something local. And I'm going to pour some. Give me just a second. Alrighty, really quick. There's a whole lot I want to talk about, but a toast to myself. It's like that Snoop Dogg thing. First, I want to thank me for this, me for that. But anyways. Viewers, if you're sitting around, I'm going to tell you it's worth the watch. So let me tell you a little bit about it, but let me do a toast because this has been a long time coming, like a year that I've been talking about doing this, and like 2-3 months that I bought equipment, sitting on it, and here we go. We're recording, but let me take a sip. I'm new to trying bourbons neat. I've been doing it for a little bit and just sipping. It smells really good. I get like cherry. I get a spice. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. We're going to figure that out together. If you're a bourbon person, I don't know about mash bills. I know proofs. I know things over 100 I'm still trying to figure out. Some I like, some I don't. Things below 84 I normally don't like too much. Proofs, but what's from where? There's most of the things that I've liked have been like around Buffalo Trace, and I know that there's like a whole category of bourbon drinkers. Taters, someone told me at the bourbon store. If I said that wrong, someone please tell me somewhere. But something like that, right? Like I've had those. I started with makers like everyone else when it comes to old fashions. I actually don't even like makers that much anymore. They're entry level one. I like the 46, 1792. Just a few different things. Old Foresters, I've liked some. What's this one? The Something Brothers. Anyways, it's going to hit me later. But I'm new in this journey, right? And I'm trying to figure out what I like and hopefully just expand that palette. And so since the goal of this video is, by the way, I'm wearing a jacket in Central Florida. It's like 50 degrees. I don't know if you can see this on video. Let's see. I can see it here, but let's see. Yeah, it's cold. Cold for Florida. I know people in New York are like, man, I'll jump in that pool right now. But for us, it's enough for a jacket. This is me clocked out. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about audiology. So the wax side is audiology. I'm an audiology practice owner. I've been doing this for a decade. I love what I get to do every day. I help people hear better. It's beautiful. I'm going to share some stories today, but there's so many stories. And most of the time, like when I'm doing stuff on social media, on like TikTok and stuff like that, the ones that people want to know more about or connect or private message me are the ones that I'm really frustrated about, and I'm going to get to that. I don't want to start off with that. But those, and also there's just so many good, like feel-good stories, and I love what I get to do every day, but it's lonely. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship also. So this is about my journey as a business owner. If you're an aspiring business owner, come on this ride with me. Let's have some drinks. Let's have some bourbon. Probably going to go into whiskeys too, but I'm going to have guests on here, business owners, people in different spaces. The biggest thing is I'm going to be sharing my audiology stories, right? It's not just that, but if you are interested in, if you're a provider and you're venting like me. And when I say it's lonely, it's like I'm the provider. I have a front desk. My wife works with me too. She's on maternity, but it's really small. We do have our patients that we do build connections with, but this is our chance to like come out and say, here's what's going on, here's what we experience. And there's a lot that people just don't know about. There's so much, there isn't a lot of information for audiology out there. Like even people that are trying to do homework, there's one guy that's really popular, Dr. Cliff on YouTube. He's really made like a platform for just talking about like, what do you look for when you're doing homework? What do you ask about? What is good? What is bad? People are asking questions. I'm going to talk about some of those things, but I don't want to get nerdy. We're not going to get into like hearing aid and what feature does this or that. We're going to lightly touch on that. The patient and the story is it. So I had a few really interesting ones that I want to start episode 1 with. One is I had a 40-something-year-old patient. We're not going to ever share patients' names. There's a privacy act. Anytime you guys go to a doctor's office, you're signing a form saying we're not going to talk about that. But I'm going to share some of these stories. This woman has had some hearing loss. She's been waiting for a little bit. She comes in, she gets her hearing aids, and she comes with her husband. And she didn't come with her husband the first appointment. She came for when she got the hearing aids. And in the middle of that session, this just happened last week, I think, week and a half maybe, she starts crying. And she was so happy. Like she was hearing him. And she's like, oh my God. Like she thought the husband was mumbling all the time. And some of those things that we hear. And we hear it all the time. Like you're probably watching this and you don't know any of those symptoms. So I'll try to share some of those without getting too boring. But, feeling like people are mumbling, like people aren't speaking clearly. She had that. So when she heard him and understood him, starts crying. And we get so many things like that. You guys have probably seen videos and stuff on social media. But that is the why. Right? Like I love being the guy that did that. I love being the person that helped reconnect her to the sounds that she was missing. It's beautiful. And it's just, there's so much like that. There's so many people that don't know. I always say like, you don't know what you're missing because you're missing it. Think about it. Like it's one of your main senses. Unless it goes out overnight, if it's coming down a little bit, your body starts to adapt. It starts to figure out a way to work without it until it gets to a point that you can't. And in that journey, in that process, right, like some things are wearing down, some things are working harder than they should. So for most people, it isn't like I woke up one day without hearing. Some people do have that experience. But it happens so gradually that by the time someone gets help, it's like, man, I didn't know I was missing this much. And it's really beautiful. It's really eye-opening. Although that's a beautiful story, just really like it's foundationally why I keep doing what I'm doing and why I'm even exposing myself on social media. One is to educate, to tell people about, things that they can avoid, maybe lessons that they can learn, whether it's audiology related or just business owner related or having a drink and which bottle to pick from the store. But it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Like we have, like any other trade, any other industry, any other thing, there's downs, right? And there's the dark. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the dark. And I'm going to probably say some things that we would normally not say, on social media. Like right now I'm representing, I guess, the bald hearing guy, which is like a different persona. I'm representing Jaysee Soto like me, like not in my office. Like I don't think someone from my podcast is going to click and fly to Central Florida to see me. If you do, I'd take excellent care of you. But this is information, right? This is for you guys to hopefully learn a little bit and have a good time. But it's not all rainbows and butterflies. I just had someone this week. They live in another country. They come and travel to the United States. They bought a set of hearing aids for, what was it, like $3,600. They bought them online. Online in the United States is not a thing. There is, I'll rephrase this. It should not be a thing because obviously you can do it. But it is illegal for us, for practitioners, to dispense a hearing aid without seeing you, testing you, looking in your ears, making sure everything's okay, making sure the hearing aids are working. There's so much regulation to protect the patient, to protect the person who's hearing impaired. So if you ever find like, I could buy this thing on eBay, it's tempting. Don't do it. Let me tell you the story. So he buys the hearing aids. He lives in Jamaica. In Jamaica, there's only one provider that in his area. This is the story he's telling me. That provider only works with one brand. He wanted something different. He bought something different. And then he shipped them to Colorado to a practice to have them programmed with his script. So he sends a script, says, hey, can you put this prescription on this hearing aid? And they send it back to him. He's been hearing, but he hasn't been happy. So he comes into our office. He sees our reviews and everything. He's like, hey, you have a good reputation. Can you help me here? Let's do it. I'll help anyone here. That's what I do for a living, right? So, but I need to be able to. when I go to connect these hearing aids, he's telling me one brand this whole time. I have this, until he takes it off his ear and I look at it, completely different brand. It is far less, in my opinion, far lower quality than the brand he was talking about the whole time. Second, it has a model number that I've never seen in my life. I've been doing this for a decade. I work with the industry leading worldwide. I can kind of pick these things out almost immediately just seeing the shell, and I can pretty much tell you a year generation for the most part. Not trying to be super nerdy, but this is what I do, right? I'm seeing these things all day, so I'm like, what in the world is this? So I immediately get on the phone, I call this manufacturer, I'm like, hey, what am I looking at right now? I don't even know what this is. They go, oh, yeah, that's a private label, and I know of private labels, but I've never heard of this one before. Actually, still, I don't even know the name, it just had like a weird print. Serial number comes up, yep, they're not registered in his name. I'm like, okay, well, I fit your products, can I help him? No, because they're locked, so I can't access the hearing aid. Meaning, let me digress here, let me bring it back. Meaning, this person spent all this money on something that I or no one, other than the practice that they purchased it from, can adjust. He took all that money, flushed it down the toilet. I feel bad because he's coming in excited to hear, and I'm going, you just put that money down the drain. People don't know that you can't do that. They assume that it's like, I don't know, like I bought a computer at this store and I can go to this store and maybe that guy can look at it or something like that. And many times it can be like that. But this is one of those crazy scenarios that I'm like, well, it was illegal for them to even have put your prescription on it without seeing you, and then the ear tips were off. It's a whole thing. I felt really badly. We offered solutions. They couldn't afford it at the time and they had to go back home. And I'm like, listen, go to the provider that's home, get tested, invest in whatever they have. You know, it's if you get a good feeling from them and they're looking to help you out, go. Because I can't go to Jamaica. I can't go help you in Jamaica. You can come and or Dominican Republic or wherever else you are. You can come in. I'll help you while you're here. There's some telehealth stuff we can do. But when something goes wrong, ideally you'd be go to the person that you're closest to, right? So that was my advice to him, or for him to come back. And, you know, stuff like that happens, and we're seeing so much more of like temptations that are online. We just came off a Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Apple commercial for the AirPods 2, they now have a hearing feature. It's the first time they do it. I'm kind of excited. It's a mixed bag. There's a lot to get into that. That'll be a whole other episode, but I'm going to give you the overview. If you didn't see the video, go on YouTube and look up AirPods 2 commercial. It was a tearjerker. It was great. Let me tell you, give me a second. In this video, you see, man, that's good. I like that. It's really smooth. Like, doing something neat is not always a smooth ride. I like that. It's a good time. So in the commercial, there's a dad. I'm a dad. I'm wearing girl dad hat. I represent dads. I have 2 girls. Being a dad is one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. So for them to do the dad bit, it got me, right? So he's seeing his daughter. His daughter's growing up. She's dancing. She's saying like, Dad, I love you. I've seen it like 2 times, but whatever it is, she's sharing something with him. He's not hearing. You see him sad. You see him frustrated. He pulls out the AirPods. He puts them in. It becomes beautiful. He's connected. I mean, wow. I got it. Like, Apple marketing. They know what they're doing. I'm not even an Apple fanboy. That's a whole other thing. I'm an Android guy. But anyways, I probably lost like 3 listeners right there. But Team Android, stay with me. Apple, stay with me. I like your tech too, but check me out. So I love that they're driving this conversation. I love that they're raising awareness. This is why I'm saying, like, I'm excited, because what this is you'll be able to put this thing in your ear, do a little screening, find out if you are relatively good or bad. It doesn't replace a prescription device, but people can get some amplification, and that should be step 1 to finding out, okay, wait, no, should I have a real evaluation? Should I go to a provider? And should I have a full evaluation, make sure everything's okay with my health, make sure this thing is actually appropriate for the level of hearing loss that I have. Where I'm going with that is people are going to be searching online, hearing aid, AirPods, and when that comes out, guess what's going to happen? eBay, Amazon, Temu, TikTok Shop, I don't even know. All these things are going to come up with like a cheap amplifier. All of those are an amplifier. If you're not seeing someone like me, if you're not seeing a provider, it's not a prescription device. It is something that's going to make it louder. Some will be better than others, but it's not tuned to that person's loss, so it isn't accurately fitting their loss. but it can be a cheap way to get started. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not fully mad at it, and I'll talk. We're going to dive deeper, and I have some information on that. But so for those that are looking for how do I save a buck, more often than not, there's a saying in Spanish, and it's lo barato sale caro, which means it's kind of like buy cheap, buy twice. I don't know if there's an English translation to that, but it's something like that. Like, you know, if you get what you pay for. There you go. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for, right? And this is not me trying to sell me or anything like that. It's just to say, hey, it's worth seeing a specialist. Like if I needed, I don't even know, surgery in my eye, if I needed a health, if I had something irregular, I'm not gonna go on TikTok and buy a thing that's gonna tell me how my heart is. I'm gonna go to my cardiologist, right? Like if I have any healthcare issue, I'm not gonna try to find what's the cheap way through this. This is me though. Like not everyone thinks that way, and that's okay. But this is my advice. If you're the type of person that tries to find, well, what's the cheapest way I can get through this problem? Most of the time when you're looking for these avenues, you're gonna fall victim to marketing that's really good. More often than not, get something that's inappropriate just because you were sold. You know, that's the thing that I don't want. We'll dive more into that in a future episode. A little bit more about wax and whiskey. So I'm going to share stuff like this because these things legitimately happened in the last week and a half in the office. But I'm also on closing year 5 of owning a business. It's an audiology business, but just business ownership. Like we have goods, bads, ups, downs, like any other trade and any other thing. So if you've been considering opening a business, you want to hear a little bit about things that have worked for me. My field may not be the same as your field. What I'm doing right now, I think, is genius, which is not that I'm a genius. I'm just trying to figure this out. But having access to like advertise yourself and just say, hey, I'm an expert at this. If you're the best nail tech, if you're the best roofer, if you're the best, doesn't have to be medical, if you're the best whatever, painter, show that off. Like social media is so powerful, and sharing stories is so powerful, and we're all on our phone. I'm shooting this on a phone right now, which is crazy. We just have access to so much, and anyone that's considering any field, just about any field, like share your stories. There's people out there that do want to know. I consume a ton of content on YouTube. I see video podcasts, and I don't really see a lot of people kind of versions of this, but I'm trying to keep it a little more casual, which is why I'm having this drink with you guys. And also this may just be my vent session. If you want to ride this wave with me of what happened today at Altamonte Family Hearing, or just hearing some of the updates of the things that we're going through, then hang out. The one last thing before I close, because I wanted this to just be a kind of like an intro. My goal is the different subjects are going to be we're going to have industry experts that are going to come in and have a conversation with me and share good, bad, and ugly about some of the things that they do, how they apply to audiology as well. But one of the things, I don't want to go too far down this road on this episode, but it's insurance. If you guys have followed me, I've been doing a lot of videos on like TikTok and insurance. This is one of those, there's good, bad, ugly. So the good story, I didn't mean to design it this way. The good story, which is just recently happened, the Jamaica story, was the bad. The ugly is normally my conversations around insurance. What happens with insurance is so many times people think they're going to get one thing, and the insurance companies hike up prices. They have tactics. They're very bait and switchy, and they're very quick to try to find a way to deny claims and do stuff. But we see that in my office. We work with insurance. Just about any trade that works with insurance, that's the part that they'll probably sigh at, because insurance companies in the United States have a reputation for denying a claim, once, twice. You got to fight. Like, it's almost like you got to fight them, to try to get your way. And your way just means like doing what they're supposed to cover in the first place. Health insurance, I'm saying. Auto insurance, I don't know that I've experienced that, but I just had someone last week that the health insurance company, hearing aids are pricey, average $4,500, $4,800 for some good ones. They can go up higher, there's down lower, but this company wanted to sell this person hearing aids. In that relationship, the patient had to buy from that company, like from the website, and they wanted to sell them $4,400 for one hearing aid. There was a benefit after that. I think it was $1,200 or $1,500. But anyways, and that was not for the top of the line. Let me clarify this thing. I'm literally on the phone. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this or not. I'm I gotta figure this out, because I was recording the person. I was really upset. I was a little animated. And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I would not, like, you're talking $4,400. That means $8,800 for a pair. I'm like, my best are nowhere near that. And this was way below the best. And I'm like, why are you guys doing that? And they're like, well, that's just the price with the insurance and the benefit. I'm like, there is no benefit. Like, what's the point? That's like if I don't know, if I could sell you a pen for $5 and I tell you, hey, you know, pen is probably not the best analogy. I don't even know. I'm selling you whatever, a house. I'm going to sell it $100,000 over its asking price, but I'm going to give you a $100,000 discount. Like, we're back in the same spot. That's kind of like what the insurance was saying. And the patient's like, man, that isn't fair. And I'm like, I know. And it's unfortunate because contractually, when it comes to those things, some of you guys might not know this, but many times if you've gone referred from the insurance company, the provider, like in our case, I can only see that patient through the channel they were referred through, which is the insurance company. Meaning, if I could do better for them, I can't let them know that. Or I can, but then I can't see them, which happens quite a bit. Like, there's times that it's so outrageous and I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be the guy that helps you. I know you want to come here. You found us online. You liked our reviews. I have a good connection with you, but you'd be overpaying to go through your insurance company, or you can go down the street to someone else and try without insurance and see what they'll tell you, because sometimes we can just beat them. Like, when it comes to these strategies, that's like, oh, I'm raising this to drop it down, like, that is, in my opinion, that's unethical. I don't know how this stuff happens. That's above my pay grade, but it happens. It happens more often than you would think. That's why there's so many, like, outside of hearing aids, there's so many arguments about, like, why do these medications cost so much in the US? Like, why is an x-ray or whatever X amount of dollars out of pocket, but then 4 times over if it's billed through insurance? I remember when we had our first daughter, make a long story short, we had like 10 grand in hospital bills, and we had health insurance, and I was paying quite a bit for health insurance with our first. And I'm like, man, how do people do this? Like, how, like, it took us over, my daughter turned 1 and we were still making the payment of her birth. And we had quite, I'd say pretty good health insurance. Like, we were, I think, in gold status, and platinum's like the top. Anyways, we didn't get like the cheapest plan. And I'm like, that's outrageous. Like, wow. Anyways, I digress. Wax and Whiskey. Welcome to Wax and Whiskey. We're going to talk about a whole lot of things and unpack more. Thank you guys for riding with episode 1. If you've listened this far, I appreciate it. This is my first time doing something like this. And for those of you that have followed me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all those mediums, I appreciate you. It is the reason so many people have reached out and said, like, I'm enjoying this content. I'm enjoying the things that you're doing. We have fun in TikTok a little bit more, but we're having fun kind of just talking about this. But I'm always at work, and there's always like a line. So here I'm going to keep it real with you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys find this sort of thing entertaining or also resourceful. If you have questions, please, if it's business related, I'd be happy to share. If it's audiology related, that is my forte. That's what I love to do. Even if it's not to come see me, if you're like, hey, my mom's in this situation, grandma's in that situation, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Reach out to me. I've helped a lot of people get to other providers or given them advice of what's a good product or not. I'd be happy to help. When it comes to bourbons, so here, I'm a noob on this. So I'm figuring this out. If you have recommendations, send them over. I'd be happy to taste them. So if there's a certain order, so my bourbon drinkers, if you've made it this far, because I started with bourbon and then we started talking about something else. If you're here for the whiskey side of the Wax and Whiskey, then thank you for making it this far. But this is kind of like where I need you, right? Like, help me find, if you have recommendations, what's a good flow? Like, where should I start? Should I focus? I mean, it's a lot of Kentucky, but is it advisable to start with like one distillery group and try everything in that distillery group, or should we try different things? I got to do some homework on like mash bills and what the differences are, because apparently that's a thing, which I'm figuring it out. I'm just having a good time drinking some bourbon. So if you guys have advice to have a better time drinking bourbon, then let me know, and thank you guys. So this closes episode 1. Jaysee Soto, bald hearing guy, and welcome to Wax and Whiskey. Have a good one, guys.